G'day guys, welcome on back. We're about to start this lovely canvas and I'm going to be throwing some egg on it today. Let's see that hyperlapse. Perfect, just setting this up so we can see how the paint lands. Egg, I've been preparing it. I've got it sitting over here, which is pretty exciting. Been slowly brewing it this morning. Slowly brewing it. Here it is. Voila. One freshly got free range, pasture raised, organic egg yolks mixed with a little bit of vinegar, teeny tiny bit of alcohol, and so technically it's eggnog actually, wild, and a teeny tiny bit of water. Here we go. Brandon, the live has just started. You've come in at just the right time. We're putting layers on this lovely picture here and we're doing it with our lovely egg. So, first things first though, we need to add in some of this. Here we go, just like this. Hey Fuzz Sparta, you're fast. You're always fast. I appreciate that about you. Here we go. Let's get this here. Go like this. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Johnny, how we doing? And yes, we're back on the egg paint. If I can sort it out without dropping everything. That's always the question. Adding just a little bit of this gloss gel to our egg. Just a teeny bit. The only reason why we do this is just to thicken it ever so slightly. Egg's just a little bit runny in its usual form, and this stuff tends to mix in so beautifully well. Just to allow us to not sploosh it around, but to pour it. Here we go. Here we go, a little bit of a mix up here. Hello Allison, how are we doing? And Guy? Yeah, it's a cool studio. This is a good place. This is a very good place. It's a perfect place to be working on this lovely picture. Slapping around some egg yolk. If I can get it to mix in beautifully, of course. That's fundamental, that's number one. There we go. What does egg do differently? Good question. Everything basically comes down into how you use it. So that's the major case. Major thing is how you personally use what you've got. But in this case here, I combine the egg yolk with a little bit of guar gum, a little bit of pigment, a little bit of, what's the other thing? Acrylic polymers is what they're technically called. And that gives me the luminosity, the intensity of color that you get from egg yolks. But it also gives me a fast drying medium, a non-toxic, almost completely solvent-free medium, and with the perfect viscosity and everything to work with. So that's what we've got here. If I can get these last little chunks out of it, that's the goal here. What we might do, this is going to be like scrambled eggs now. It's going to be quite funny. Let me grab this, chuck the lid on, and just give it a little bit of a shaky. A little bit of a shaky. And this is going to mix up that, hopefully I don't get some pavlova, but it's going to mix the little chunks that I've got with the rest of the medium. Here we go. Almost done. Almost done. Let me just bring you around this way here a little bit, guys, so I don't need to hug the painting so aggressively. You're going to lose the top corner. Please forgive me. There we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Hey Jason, how you doing? How are you doing? Just keep shaking this up a little bit more. Jew, it's been a long job. Long job, slowly tempering, playing, navigating different ways of mixing the paint and seeing how it could come out. Talking to Chatbot GBT a lot, because it's got the knowledge of mankind. Talking to other artists, reading old books about tempura, and slowly figuring out how I could actually get the best things of tempura, sorry, not tempura, best things about tempura and mix it into my favorite things about acrylic and combine that with my favorite things about oils. So oils is the power of the color. Acrylics is the glossy, quick drying element that they can have. Tempuras are the luminosity and natural element. And then, yeah, all those things. All those things. I sound like I'm starting a band here at the moment with little muckers. Are they called muckers? I'm not sure. Anyway, let's have a little look-see at that. It's thickening up beautifully. I'm going to add just a little bit of leveling paste to it. That's the stuff here, clear leveling gel. And what that's going to do is it's going to mean that the impasto effects of the oils, paint, will be lessened as they'll level out those harder lugs of texture to allow them to blend over nicely. Love the stash. Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot actually. I think it's here to stay. And hello, Pink. It's been a hot minute, Pink. Good to have you back. Good to have you back. Right, there's our mix. Seems pretty good to me. Seems pretty good to me. But the most important thing is, we'll start with it, see how we go. If we like it, we keep it. If we don't like it, we change it slowly. Off Trax Ramisu. That's a lovely thing to say, Trax Ramisu. I do love that guy. Got a lot of time for Van Gogh. All right. And then if we have any left over, we'll take it home and make a paint omelette. We won't do that. Now, next things next. First things first, next things next. I need some gouache paint, which I have in a handy dandy little box here, containing them all, beautifully kept. And we're going to play around, first off, with some whites. Whites, pale rosé blush, and I want to get a little bit of brilliant violet. That's our ones. It's how you say it. Tiramisu. Yes, I actually was in a restaurant night before last, and Shelby ordered the tiramisu. So I am well versed in tiramisu. Big fan, in fact. I like a little bit of chocolate, cocoa, with that custardy flavour of the coffee. It's good for me. It's good for me. This is a different tube of gouache. It's a bit thinner. We're going to use it. It's not my favourite. I don't want to rag on anyone. This is Art Spectrum. So Art Spectrum is not my favourite because the gouache paint that I've got, everything else is amazing. The gouache paint that I've got, it seems to be more soft-bodied acrylics, which if you're after that, brilliant, go for it. They run beautifully, but I like something a bit more thick. I'll show you the difference here. This is the AS paint, and see how it wants to run for me? And this is the paint that I like. I like just that raw, pasty pigment that does it for me. Vincent is my favourite artist, and so is Tiramisu. We would get along. I like your style. I like your style a lot. I've got a lot of time for Vincent. Got a lot of time for tiramisu. I've never done a homemade tiramisu. That's my own problem. That's my own fault. I should. Homemade tiramisu. How yummy. Right, here we go. And now we're just going to start playing around. Got our colours. We've mixed them beautifully. There's bubbles in it because we shook it a little bit, but that's okay. There's bubbles and waves, so we'll capture that. There we go. Let's grab some of that white. Whoo-wee. Beautiful. Now this paint here, although it still does have acrylic polymers in it, like regular acrylic paint, and although it also has a lot of, a little bit of guar gum in it, predominantly it's egg yolk. And because of that, it's very, very natural. And there's a satisfaction to working with a natural element. Hello, French Bulldog. Absolutely. In fact, tomorrow I'm shipping 2 pieces to the United States. One that's going to break my heart to ship, and one that's that's been in my foyer for the last 4 to 6 months, and I'm in love with. And the other one is a commission of a lovely, lovely couple. One's going to Washington, D.C., and one's going to bada bing bung boom, New York City. Washington, D.C. and New York City. So, if you'd like a painting and you're in America, 100%. I've got the most incredible team who ship the works, put them in protective boxes and things like that. Go the full Monty. Your work will arrive safe and sound. That's the easy part. The hard part isn't the actual the hard part isn't the shipping of the artwork. The hard part is coming up with the idea that's meaningful to make a piece of artwork about. But we can work on that together. It's part of the fun. Where am I? You at school? Zay, we're not in school. I'm 30 years old, so I'm way too old for school. I'm a dinosaur in some people's eyes, but I still feel like a spring chicken. So that's positive. There we go. Let's get a little bit through here. Beautiful. Yeah, this is a fun color. It's got some pop to it. What I might do as well is I might even take this down off here. It's taped on quite significantly to try and protect it. No, I didn't try DALL-E 3, but I did try number 2, and it was absolutely sensational. If you haven't tried it yet, guys, it's you like the shirt? Kathmandu, New Zealand brand. I love it. I've often fantasized about starting up a brand called Dog Lady Don't, right outside every Kathmandu store in New Zealand. It's the opposite. So Jack, I haven't tried Chatbot GPT-4 yet. I should do. I understand there's a one called Kronk for Twitter, or Elon Musk has made. Does anyone compare GPT to Kronk? I'd love to know. And then in terms of DALL-E 2, in terms of DALL-E 2, 3, I didn't use it. I used DALL-E 2, I think. I actually used it this morning. If you're part of the Art of Painting channel, I was dabbling with trying to figure out if I could get it to make a version of the modern masculine male dancer. It didn't quite nail it. I'm after something very specific. But I think we've got it. So I think we're good to go tomorrow. But I mean, we will see. We will see. Who knows? What does the egg do? The egg is a solvent-free binder. Sorry, solvent-free binder. That's not true. It's a binder. So it's used as a vehicle for the paint. If you think about the likes of oil paint or water paint, surprise, surprise, oil paints use oils and water paints use water. But egg paint also uses, egg tempera, also uses water, but it's the tempera made with the egg proteins typically. There's one called amurina or something, which they basically bind together and form a hard film, just like acrylic or glue when it dries. And it lasts borderline indefinitely. So it's a great way, if it's prepared correctly, to making long-lasting paintings. And Bless me. This is New Zealand. You're close though. So go to Australia, go east and hit the North Island of New Zealand, and then go to Albany, and then you'll find me. Right here. In fact, if you drove down Constellation Drive, you might even be able to see me painting the studio right now. How wild is that? Yeah, so it's the proteins that actually make the painting seal, which is pretty cool. So rather than using solvents and things that actually can hurt you, it uses the innocent vehicle of nature, which I kind of like. It means I can be really close to the painting and there isn't these dangerous fumes in the room that can harm me. It's all pure, it's all clean. Even with acrylics, there are fumes that come off it, and with oil paintings, they actually off-gas for 6 months. So if you're after an oil painting that's been freshly made, 6 months until it stops giving off oil fumes in your home. How wild. Yes, I do. So I mix a little bit of it. A lot of people who are purists for egg tempera will be like, well, that's not egg tempera then. Egg tempera is pure, and that's true. And a lot of people use powdered pigments, yet I use gouache paste to make pigments. So you could say, well, that's not pure egg tempera either. But I find adding a little bit of acrylic into the egg tempera, what it does is it strengthens the paint enough to bond and stops cracks from appearing. Just a little bit of gel to stop the cracks. No, the egg dries practically immediately. If you have things like the membrane, the outer layer of the yolk, and the egg whites, you will or may run into problems, and that's a preparation thing. So it depends on how you prepare the egg yolk for one hand, and no, Jack, I have not. So prepare the egg right, and if you paint it on thinly, it'll dry within 20 seconds, be hard within 20 minutes, and completely and utterly unmovable in the next few months. So, egg is fantastic. And no, even right now, I'm in the room with the art. I've got a whole jar that I've made up of egg tempera, and I can't smell a single bit of egg. So, kudos to that. Thanks, Jack. If you come to New Zealand, you'll find out it's a very, very boring accent. Everyone's got one. Sounds just like me. Here we go. Let's come on down here into this wave. Capture a few little strokes. And so as you see this colour landing, these whites and pinks, don't think we're losing anything underneath it, because what's actually happening is they're sitting on top and you can see through it. So those yellows and blues and reds and pinks are still equally as relevant as they were beforehand. We're just creating an additional layer of interest, which I reckon's pretty cool. And plus, because of the inclusion of acrylic into the egg, we can lay it on just a little bit thicker. Not fully impasto, but a little bit impasto. Not fully impasto, but a little bit. How many eggs? Today we are using 2 cartons. So we're using 24 eggs. So in New Zealand, an egg costs $1.30. So we're using about $40-ish, someone check my math, of eggs, which is pretty fun. So, if you'd like to sponsor me 7 to 8 eggs, you can do that by handing over a Galaxy, and I'll love you to bits. But don't worry, one thing I've got planned for the summer is chickens. So if I get my hands on some chickens, I am going to start laying my own eggs. Well, not laying my own eggs. I'm going to get some chickens to lay eggs for me. Taking credit there, I shouldn't do that. Is it true that you own your own grocery store? When you say, is it true, is that actually a rumor going around? That Seb owns a grocery store? I do not. I wish I owned a grocery store. Do I? No. I don't own a grocery store. I don't wish to own a grocery store. If I had a friend who owned a grocery store, I'd gladly help him in his grocery store. But it's not for me. I heard that rumor. Michael, where did you hear that rumor that Seb owns a grocery store? I love it. I love it. But you're getting the wrong idea about Seb. I was a, I went to art school. I went to art school. After art school, I worked as an operations manager of a New Zealand franchise for restaurants, a la carte style, which was Cobb & Co. I did that for how long? 5 or 6 years. I also went to Camp America. So I did camp backwards and forwards, which is like summer camps in America. Think like Red Hot American Summer. In fact, the camp I went to, apparently the guy was associated with it. The guy who made that movie, the director of it, he went to Moden, I think. I forget. But anyway, so Red Hot American Summer. And then after that, full-time art. Full-time art. So no grocery stores, a whole lot of fire safety, health and safety, hiring, recruitment, performance stuff, systems, financials and stuff like that for a restaurant franchise. But I didn't own the franchise personally. I just worked as the ops manager. And if anyone was, sometimes people come on and go, oh, I remember you from Cobb & Co Dunedin, or I remember you from Cobb & Co Christchurch, when I'm down there looking after teams and things. And some people have even been served by me in a restaurant as a waiter, which is pretty cool. But also, what happens is I would use, in Christchurch, I was using the storage room after hours. So after the restaurant would close and all the staff would go home, I'd unlock the storeroom and paint in there. And so I'd paint from like 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. That was my go. The lady. Who's the lady? Why does everyone who leave high school ends up becoming a manager so quickly? I can barely get a job. I wouldn't recommend the way I did it. If art was the goal, I went about it the wrong way. Being a manager consumes my life. Being an operations manager, I was working long weeks. I didn't have, I struggled to have or maintain a meaningful relationship. I let my own health slip, both physical and mental. I got twisted up in my own little world of confusion. But the most important thing was to actually realize if I wanted to do the art, I wanted to be an employee who would get a paycheck and then spend the entire thing every week on art supplies and creating. That's what I needed to do. That's what was required. But I didn't do that. I lost years climbing, doing corporate stuff, working in a corporate, well, not a fully corporate world, but working in a world that was completely secular and not supporting my dreams. Not that they didn't want to support my dreams, they would have, in a heartbeat. But the problem was I was so engulfed in what I was doing that I'd forgotten I'd even had dreams. That's wild. That's what happens. So you've got to find yourself a job that you may not love, but allows you to remember your dream. And then you need to use every penny of that job to pursue your dream. Now, I did it the wrong way around. I did save cash, which helped when I was first starting out as an artist, because I was able to buy things like easels and I was able to get good quality paint and things. But at the end of the day, I think going about it in a way that you become a tradie, an electrician or a sparky or a waiter or a caregiver of some description, and then use that to make some cash to do art in your spare time. That's the case. But if you value things like going out and partying, I know it's great to spend time with friends, but if you value doing partying and things more than you value being in front of your easel or spending time with friends around an easel, then you may not be the kind of person who wants to become a full-time artist, because this is going to engulf your life. Maybe if you enjoy that partying side more, which still exists for everyone if you want it to, but you might be better in event promotion and things like that, where you can do what you love. But if there's something about art that speaks to you, and you love the way it can make people feel, you love the way it makes you feel, it brings you closer to people, it has to do that. That's so important. If it does that, then you can use, then definitely, you belong in art. I've never seen a painting of yours. I've never seen a painting of yours, but you will belong in art. Oh, fantastic, Sky. Proud of you. Never mind they left. Car parked in the line. How could they? How could they park in the line? Naughty of them. Dun, 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 dun. Does the piece I'm working on have a name? It's, well, the surfer does. The surfer is Drew Brophy. He's a famous surf artist, and he's a surfer. But the painting itself does not. It has no name right now. But what we might call it is the location of the beach where Drew caught this wave. That'll be our plan, I reckon. And let's talk about that. Inspiration. Where do you get inspiration from? Great question. I don't think you get inspiration to go painting. I don't think that's actually a thing. I think that's a pipe dream. I think you get motivation to go painting. And once you're motivated to get up, go painting, and pursue what you love, then once pen or paintbrush or crayon or whatever starts touching canvas, now that will start to foster inspiration. But inspiration comes from the doing, not from the starting. Motivation starts, inspiration prolongs, proliferates, and manifests. That's what I reckon. And hey JB, how do you call it done? You know it's done. I've said this before, I'll say this again. I need to make it, in fact, you know what? That's what today's reel is going to be on. You should do me a favor, Luke. You should ask that on one of the videos so that I can make a response video on TikTok to it. But you know when it's done, when what you've made, when you love it more than you wish to see what it can become. There comes to a point when you're making art where you don't want to touch it because it's exactly everything that you want it to be. If you came and started with intentions, you've reached those intentions and you don't want to touch it again. At that stage, it's done. And when you touch it again and you ruin it and you think, oh no, I shouldn't have touched it. No, be happy. Because at that moment in time, you felt like there was something more in it, something unfinished, something still worth capturing. And so you went in there for more. Never judge that feeling. Always love the fact that even though you may have broken a painting, you went back for more. I respect that. Here we go. A little bit of salmon coming in here. A little bit of salmon. Brian likes the painting. Perfect, Brian. I am glad. It's a fun one. It's a real fun one. Jack, we've done maybe... Let me just spin you a little bit, guys. Because we are going to be working up in that corner a little bit more now. There we go. I'm able to go like that. There we go. We've done maybe, how many hours? Did one beach session and one live session. So we're probably on about 4 or 5 hours. And you sort of need that to get that layering coming up through it. So 4 or 5 hours, and we're going to see what we can do in the next few hours. It's 1 o'clock now. I've got another 90 minutes here with you guys. Another 90 minutes because I need to dash off to a meeting in town, and then I'll come on back and we can have some fun with either this one or the other one. Probably the other one. But we'll see where we get this to. We'll see where we get this to. Bum, 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 bum. Hello, LJ. How you doing? And Brian, I'm glad you like this painting. This is a fun painting. This is the classic wave, the classic ocean. It just fills you with vitality, movement, and life. And that's the goal. That's the goal. Such a fun thing to capture. Just finding little moments, capturing them, splattering paint over the surface, gently making the subject pull itself out of the ether, nothing. Gently bring the subject into existence. That's the goal. That's the goal. Not force it, never force it. Just gently bring it. That's the key. There we go. Perfecto. Yes, indeed, it is a surfer. Good, good. But don't say finally start to paint. Go get started painting now. What's holding you back? Go do it. There we go. Let's get some more of this through the water. More of this through the water. Lots of this color. I think we're not far off moving into some pale blues, but we'll see how we go. Fear of messing up and ruining a canvas, that's all good. You can always paint a canvas white, start again, and see where it takes you. The worst way to lose, is the paralysis of not taking action. That's when you blame yourself the most. If you took action and you failed, you can look back on it and think, oh, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that, but I did my best. That always feels well better. And you move on almost immediately after saying it than you do when you think, oh, I should have at least tried. I should have at least tried to do something. That's a completely different statement. I know it's weird, I take action on most things, but not yet. That's probably, when it comes to painting, the hardest thing about painting is actually realizing that, it's expression, it's feelings. And to have to capture that and do that, it's tough. It's really tough. Especially when, you're forced to confront your feelings in a way, or forced to confront how you want to express yourself. And sometimes we're so used to sometimes just going with the flow, doing what other people tell us to do, or people pleasing. So every action you take is to make other people happy. In those situations, when you are given a canvas and told, hey, produce your own happiness, or create your own expression authentically from you, sometimes we immediately, and you'll know this is you, if when that occasion comes, you actually glance around and hope for external feedback or someone to tell you what to paint, or you'll pause and not paint. You'll freeze in that moment because you've spent so long pleasing other people that when it comes to actually pleasing yourself, you freeze in an activity. It can happen. It may not be you, but sometimes it is. Hello, Nods20, good to have you in here, and let's have a little look-see here. What's the next stage going to be? It's going to be a bunch of blues, team. We've got those cerulean blues coming in through it and going up over, but if you look at it, this has been a bit harsh, but if you look at it, you'll see just the cerulean blues punching in. Now we need more shades of blue than that because that builds the depth into the wave. So the next shade of blue off the ranks is going to be the first one I grab a hold of. And the reason we're not picky is we're going to end up using them all across the course of making this painting. So we're not fussy of what the first one's going to be. And let's have a little look-see here. The first one I pull out is cerulean blue. Well, that's hilarious. We're not doing that. Percussion blue, we can use that when you splice it. Ultramarine, we can use that, and these two. We've got our 4 tubes here. We're going to use the same palette. It's going to turn a bit pink on us, but that's okay. We'll break out from there. ZJ, welcome on in. You like that? Yeah. I think we'll leave a lot of the primary colors in here because it leaves that raw, crazy aspect on the painting itself, which, I'll be honest, I kind of like. I kind of like that. Yes, I do. I kind of like that. And so do you. All right, 2 paints there. 1 there. This one here, the ultramarine, is super dark. So we're going to need some more of that white. More white, but I don't want the runny white. Oh, do I want to open up a new one? Let's run the runny white out, and then will go on to a white that I like. They're both just as good as each other. But the issue that comes in for me is I don't like paint that doesn't behave like paste. I'm so fussy like that. So anyway, here we are. Right, paintbrush. Wipe down the paintbrush. Drying, how are we doing on that front? It is drying, it's not dried yet. Thanks, CJ. I appreciate that. Sorry I haven't been live in the last little while. I've been racing around like a headless chicken, getting the studio sorted. I've been framing some things this morning. We've got 3 works framed this morning, 2 are shipping off tomorrow, and I've got some reels inbound on the way in the near future. So that's going to be pretty exciting for anyone who's excited by that. I'm excited. Right. Okay, blues. Blues on the canvas, a little bit more of our egg mix. Keep this stuff clean. There we go. Get that off the side. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's lovely. Just like that. Just like that. And then we're going to wipe that little bit up there. Beautiful. And they can go down there. A little bit of this over here. Bloop. Lovely. Literally the best mix to make this tempera with. And it's going to sound hilarious. The best mix to go for, see this, is when it's really similar to pancake mix. Like a crepe. When you get to that stage, that's ideal for the base coats, pancake mix, and then you move into custard. And food's a really great way to talk about it, because a lot of the time you hear about people making paint and you watch like a tutorial and they're like, wait till the viscosity is just at the stage in which you can blah, 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 blah. And you're like, that's sort of confusing. So I say, make it like custard. And everyone's like, got it. I know what you mean by that. And then you can say, make it like pancake mix. And everyone can be like, ah, yes, okay. And then you'd be like, but wait a minute, hold on. I like my pancakes thicker. Cool, make thicker pancake mix. Just roughly in the ballpark of pancake mix, and you'll be okay. Yes, so LJ, we will indeed. And if I'm not live later on today, oh no, sorry, I've got some canvases at home that I've just made. And we're gonna start probably tomorrow morning actually doing some tutorials and showing you guys, first off, how to make the paint, and second off, how to paint with the paint. But if you want some tutorials now, they're on Instagram, but they're for the subscribers. So if you want to know how to make the paint, that's where you find it. But otherwise, just hang out here. I'll keep telling you the recipe over and over again. I do it physically on Instagram in the video, but honestly, it's just opening up eggs, separating them, taking the yolk out of the yolk case, adding a little bit of water, like do it a few times, you'll muck it up a few times, you'll get the hang of it, and you're away. That's so weird, LJ. That's always happening. People keep saying that's happening. I'm not sure why, but anyway. You got on time this time, LJ. That's what's important. That's what's important. So right now, you can see the way I'm painting with it. We're working with pancake mix. The paint is pancake mix. I will tell you when we move into custard, but we're not there yet. This is pancake mix time. There we go. Lovely. Splashes of color. And then a little bit more up there. There we go. Giant wave blossoming out. You wildcat. A little bit more ultramarine here. Give me that. Yeah, like that. This is the color I'm after. Give me that, give me that, give me that thing. There we go. See that? That's the color. Dragging over the surface. Buttery pancakes. I don't mean to make everyone hungry, but the paint is like buttery pancakes. Colourful, buttery pancakes. How very, very exciting. Ooh, painting with colourful, buttery pancakes. I'm curious about the pigment and other things you use. Great question. I've got powdered pigments. I don't often use them. I would suggest if you use powdered pigments, wear a mask. Some of them don't have the best instructions on them, but contain heavy metals that can cause cancer and make you really sick and things like that. And you'll say, oh, they're non-toxic, I'm safe. Well, careful, just be careful. You're so much more valuable than any silly little container of pigments. And then, apart from that, I'll just, give me just a second while I cut on this leg. I want to make sure I get this right. There we go, like that. And then that comes down there like that. Is that correct, or am I? Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Just like that. And then this leg here goes like this. Yeah, like, yeah, there. And then that goes. Perfect. He's got a great calf muscle, this lad. There we go. Perfect. All right. So be careful with powdered pigments. If you use them, wear a mask. A dust mask is fine. You don't need a full-on respirator. Dust mask will do the trick. I know COVID, they said you have to be on a full-on respirator rather than a regular dust mask, so it won't help, or that's what was the yarn and things. In this case, we are dealing with dust. It's pigment dust, so you're okay with a dust mask. But I recommend using really, and I know it's expensive, but really good quality gouache. And the reason I say good quality gouache is because it's basically, if you get the right stuff, it has no additives in it at all except for the pigment and guar gum. So you're definitely resigning to have a little bit of gum, which is an oil sort of stuff, in your work, but even though it's in the work, you're now not dealing with any powders, so you don't need any masks on. And gouache is totally fine. So at the moment, I'm using gouache paste, and I'm mixing that with my egg mix, which has a little bit of acrylic polymer, blended into it to make sure it's the thickness of pancakes. That's the go. Yes, indeed. So I do use pigments sometimes, but it's niggly, guys. Pigments on the go are tough. I'll use pigments when I'm preparing a lot of paint off the bat, and you just be going through 10, 20 tubes of gouache. It's too tough, it's too difficult, so this is the way to go about that. You say that, but then there's me in high school drawing on myself with a Sharpie 24/7. That's okay. So, I shouldn't say that. That's not okay, but a lot of the times, like the heavy metals and oils aren't actually something that you need to panic about when they get on your skin. It's only, they can't get past your skin barrier. But if your skin's broken, or you ingest them, or they get into your eyes and things, that's when now the heavy metals and the oils are in your bloodstream and having an impact on your body. At least that's my understanding of it. And so, certainly, we used to draw on each other with the Sharpies in school and things, and now everyone's worried about toxic this and toxic that. But from what I understand, it's broken skin and things like that that cause a lot of these issues. Jude, fair enough. Catch you later from South Africa. Get some rest and thanks for joining in. Man, I almost went to South Africa recently. I wanted to see some of the reserves and monkeys, tigers and lions and giraffes. Didn't end up going through with it, which is entirely on me. Breaks my heart. But on the bright side, I'm going to be a dad, so silver lining if you ask me. There we go. TEX, I'm going to call you TEX if that's okay with you, unless you can tell me how to pronounce that better. Thank you very much. You're welcome to be here. I get questions on do I do art lessons, but I keep telling people just come join here. Get your easel out, get your canvas out, whatever, and paint along with me, and you'll be totally fine. Speaking of, I have been working on getting that time sorted, guys. And once I do, I'm gonna post it, and it'll be up available for you every time I'm live. It'll be on the website, it'll be on TikTok, it'll be on Instagram, and you guys will just know Seb's gonna show up at this time. And we're all going to enjoy that more because it will be less random, and when the notifications let you down, you won't have to worry. We just get the good times, which is pretty cool. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. I'm super excited. Doing a baby's my thing. It really is. I want to be a dad so bad. And the exciting thing about having babies, I mean, early is always better. I was talking to my great uncle. Early is better, but we always think, oh, I want to live more life before I have kids. And he's like, I'm actually sort of gutted I didn't have kids till I was 35. This was my uncle saying this. He's great uncle now. He always was. He was saying, because I've got great grandchildren, but I'm not going to see them like finish their adolescence. I'm just going to see them as children, figuring out who they're going to be. And I just love to see what they're going to do with their lives. And so he says, I'm just gutted I wasn't able to have kids sooner, because then I'd see more at the other end. And everyone always talks about life sort of not stopping, but, oh, your best, what would you say? Your best days are behind you. Oh, it's all about the kids now, this and that. He's like, yeah, but when you are in your 60s and 70s, watching your children and your grandchildren grow must be one of the coolest, most satisfying things on the face of the planet. Hello, Lady. Welcome on in. And yes, if you're in Christchurch, that's phenomenal. I used to paint in the shed outside Cobb & Co Christchurch. Pretty funny story. Yeah, LJ is an OG. We're lucky to have LJ here. And now, guys, we've got a lot of colour coming on now. With these blues, I'm just going to get a little bit more impasto. Just a little bit more impasto. See where that takes us. What's that song, though? The one, there's a lady who sings it. Ooh, I keep dancing on my own. I'm dancing on my own. Da 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 do. LJ's like, that was a terrible rendition. This is the name of that song. I'd be like, I did it good enough to serve the purpose. I need to download that song. I keep dancing on my own. Which sounds so cool and heroic, but when you're actually doing it, it's, it can be quite tough. Ooh, do, 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 do. Am I a first generation painter? I am. So I come from a long line of farmers. A long line of farmers. And I did a bit of farming in my time. Very small amount. But my father noticed, at a young age, he noticed in me that, okay, this boy's more creative. This boy's more of a visual art style kid. And so kudos to him and my mother. They morphed their style, they morphed what they knew, and they changed in order to teach me. Not teach me or guide me or allow me to be what I need to be, which is heroic on their part. So kudos to my parents for doing that. But yes, prior to me, farmers. And Buku, this is The Crate. Flexible office space here in Auckland. So I'm painting from The Crate flexible office space. This is my current office now. I'm going to do a proper video on it, team. A proper video talking about, a lot of people got really excited after COVID and started working from home. But what we didn't realize is working from home, we were all tricked. Working from home is working alone. And once you're working alone, you're isolated and you're going to get things like mental challenges, depression, all these things are going to seep in on you. Yes, you've got control of your business. Yes, you're doing it at home, but being part of a community is as essential for you as it was for cavemen back 50,000 years ago. So the key there, and the reason why I've joined up here is I thought, I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going to stop saying we should all be connected and things like this. I'm going to start connecting. I'm going to go down to The Crate. I'm going to join up. So now I'm here. This is where the studio is based. And I'm going to try and build a community down here and try and abolish this absolutely prolific sense of loneliness in artists. since COVID. Like, I know it's always there, the tortured artist alone in the garage, alone in the basement, working by him or herself, you know, doing their thing. It doesn't need to be that way. Art can be loving, it can be growing, it can be fun, it can be full of vitality. And yet we're all torturing ourselves in basements, sheds, garages, home studios, when we could be working together, enjoying life, and creating amazing, beautiful things that we can share with the world around us. So here I am. I'm going to make a proper video on that, but this is a Crate flexible office space. This is where I work now. If you are in Albany, Auckland, or if you know anyone in Albany, Auckland, come join up. Join the team. This is where we're based. Yes, Vincent. I would have forced Vincent into a group studio. I would have forced him to hang out with people. And I don't think it would have changed things, but it would have made him happier when he wasn't painting. Because you know what? He loved his painting. It made him so happy, so happy. But outside of it, if you read his letters and things he gave to his brother, he wasn't as stoked with life. It doesn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be that way. We can fix it. We can fix it. It needs fixing. And if anyone's going to lead a charge on actually combating, bringing awareness to, and largely taking a step to fix things like mental health and people who are struggling in society, it needs to be from those who have their entire craft wrapped around feelings and expression. So artists, I know a lot of you are out there battling, absolutely battling with finances, mental health issues yourself, or just general whatever goes on in life. But the responsibility is on your shoulders, my shoulders, our shoulders, to actually bring positive expression, positive feelings and vitality through our art into the world, and try and use it as not just a lot of messages and videos saying, hey, you know, feel good, I'm here for you, blah, blah. Try and say that with your art. Try and make your art something that can connect with another person through a visual medium to say it's okay to be you. It's okay to be whoever it is that you actually are. And you don't have to keep hiding. You can be yourself and you can be honest and authentic, and we love you for it. I don't know you, but you're lovable. That's what we can do with our art. And I know it's a tall order on artists. I know it's a tall order on a group of people who are already struggling. But you know what? No one said it was going to be easy. And if you had the power to do it, if you genuinely believed you had the power to bring around positive change just by the art you made, would you ever stop making art? Would you let anything get in the way of a thing that could be as sacred as making other people happy? I don't think you could. I don't think you could bring yourself to stop. He just wanted to live in his paintings. Interesting you say that. I think he knew to a small degree what he was making. He knew the purity in the work that he was creating. And I think while he was doing it, he wasn't miserable. A lot of people think that sacrifice and pain makes great work. I think in Van Gogh's work, when he was painting, it was the only time he was actually truly happy. And so make sure when you approach your work that you find a way, or you make sure it's full of you and at your best. And that will show up in every stroke of the painting. Because you at your worst is also going to show up in every stroke of the painting. And when I say the worst, I don't mean craft-wise. I mean who you are as a person, the way you think, the way you feel. Bring that into a place where actually making your art's vitalizing, where it builds you, it grows you, it makes you feel good. That's what I reckon. I could talk about Van Gogh for hours too. I posted a massive blurb on Reddit one time. Someone was saying, Van Gogh's no good. Can someone explain to me why anyone likes his art in the first place? And I posted this reply, and the person who originally asked the question was like, well, after reading it, it got a few likes and things, but the person who posted the question was like, you know what, I'm convinced. I like Van Gogh now. And I put on my art history hat, so I used terms or like little systems that I'd invented in art history, and I can't quite remember it. You know what? We could even talk about it, guys, because it was pretty cool. I hope you guys don't mind. We're about to do a quick little yarn about Van Gogh. But I've got to find it here in this device. Let me just check it on this thing here. How are we looking? We're in pretty good shape. We're pretty wild in a good way, but we're in good shape. Now, okay, let's get this here. We've been going for 53 minutes, which is pretty exciting. My phone is about to die, which isn't ideal. But let's go in here. Okay, it was on Reddit. So let's leap in there. Reddit from the Play Store. Let me just grab this too, guys. While I'm here painting. Quick seat. Cheers, LJ. Let's Reddit, that's right. I don't often use Reddit, guys, so I didn't actually have the app downloaded on my phone, which is entirely my fault. But this is really relevant, and since we've got some Van Gogh fans in here at the moment, I want to show you some love and tell you what I think. And also tell you if I still agree with it or if I'm 100% against it now. So that's going to be exciting to find out. Because I wrote it a year ago. So I may be in a position now where I think, no, I don't agree with a single word that I said. Which is totally okay. You're allowed to change your mind and think different things. So let's see if I've changed my mind or not. My profile, and then I go to comments, I think. Yeah, here we go. Yes, how do you find share Aboriginal deleted new posts? I don't think I can find it, guys. That breaks my heart. Yep, no, it's completely gone. We'll never ever know about the post. Maybe I deleted it. It doesn't strike me as something I delete. Oh, here we go. So the initial comment's been deleted now. The initial comment's been deleted, but my reply to it's still here. So I can't remember what was said about Van Gogh, but it was, someone tell me why he's good. So I said, you're right. The fact is, he was talking about fame and saying Van Gogh's just famous because he's famous. Someone tell me otherwise. So anyway, here we go. You ready? You're right. The factors you've mentioned are playing a role. As an art history major, I studied lots of artists. The vaguer and more underappreciated, the more I loved them. Van Gogh is my favourite artist. The man began his career at 27 and killed himself 10 years later. Across history, I've perceived for art to be great, it needs three things: attention, connection, and reward. If you turned Van Gogh into an RPG character, here's the geek coming out of me, you'd have connection and reward maxed out in your skill tree. Unfortunately, attention would be at level 1. Without attention, the others are nearly impossible. His story is beautiful, but that's not what makes the art special. After all, there are so many beautiful stories. What makes Van Gogh the GOAT, the greatest of all time, for painting is his ability to create something we can authentically connect to. The amount of mirror neurons, that's neurons that fire simultaneously for viewer looking and artist creating, will fire when gazing at his work. That will fire when gazing at his work is, I believe, to this day unparalleled. Van Gogh believed Potato Eaters was his masterpiece. Is it? I don't know. I love the works that you'll only find as fillers in a book of his work. Yeah, anyway, to break it down some more, and hello Natalie, welcome on in. To break it down some more, when I was doing art history, I would evaluate artists off 3 things to figure out if they were successful or why they weren't successful as artists in their careers during their day. So, and I made this myself, I didn't get this from a book or anything, but when I was doing my art history degree, this is what I thought was key. I thought it was attention, connection, and reward. So let's break that down so we can understand those things a little bit better. Attention. When seen, does it grab attention? This can be done through surprise, intricacy, colour, size, etc. Note, it's not a measure of the amount of viewers, but instead the conversion on the viewers. So that's important. We say attention. Oh, that's Jeff Koons because he's famous. Or Damien Hirst because Damien Hirst is famous. No, that's not the intention I'm talking about. The work itself and its existence, like if you choose this one, for example, what's its value on attention? Well, it's not 10 out of 10 for grabbing, but it does have a whole lot of colour. It does have a whole lot of movement. It does have a lot of wild layers. So maybe, let's say, a 7 out of 10 on the attention valuation. And then striking works that show you things that make you go, that would be quite valuable on the attention side. And then landscapes that are very, very muted and almost empty with nothing going on. Usually they fall lower on the attention scale, but that's only one rating. So that's the initial perception of the thing. How many people, when they look at it, stay looking at it? That's the attention. But you could get that sample group with 10 people, 1 person, 20 people, or hundreds of millions of people. That's not what the attention's about. Perfect. Connection. This is important. This is the big one, and this is where I put all my stats into on my skill tree. Connection. Once looking, how intensively does the viewer's mirror neurons fire? As if to say, how synonymous is the viewer's experience to what the artist experienced during the art's inception? So, for your experience when you look at my art, how close is that to my experience when I look at my art? And I try and get the 2 things to be correlated and similar as much as possible. If you can achieve that connection, that's a beautiful thing in itself. Now, Van Gogh has that connection. You look at his work and you know it's amazing because everyone looks at it and they say, I could do that, or I understand how he made that. Perfect. He's not tricking you. He's not doing Da Vinci's method of brush strokes that become invisible so you can't even tell it was made with a brush. You can tell the size of the brush, the angle he struck the canvas with, and the exact colour he used. He hardly even mixed colours. They were straight from the tube. So there is this I understand element to it, even if you're not an artist, which allowed for more connection through his work. Reward. This is a big one too. Oosh. Hey Jake, how we doing? Or Jack. Is it Jake? Jake. Yeah, and one more thing's go. We've got one more to go. This is reward. What's in it for the viewer? This is so important. What's in it for the viewer? Is the connection so strong that it's a means to its own end? That can be the case sometimes. Or by continuing your attention on the work, do you receive more secrets, Easter eggs, and nuances? Now, that's really, really interesting to say because what I'm saying here is you see a piece of artwork and you know what? Then all of a sudden, after you've seen it, what happens? Well, you've seen it. You say it's nice. So you move on with your life. That's because everything the artwork can possibly give you, it gave you in the first few seconds of knowing it. And it was a beautiful few seconds. And it changed your life. You laughed, you cried, whatever might have happened. But then you were ready to move on. And that was okay. And the artwork had nothing left to give you past that initial experience. Now, some artwork through detail, like Renaissance period pieces, keep on giving because there's so many little intricate moments that keep capturing your attention in different ways. Abstract art keeps giving. And the reason abstract art tends to keep giving is because in the abstract art, you perceive it in different ways. And in fact, because it's abstract, as you change as a human being over years or decades, your interpretation of the work will also alter. That's humongous. It's really dramatic. And then the other thing, to go into this artwork here, if you want to say, well, what's the reward from your artwork? Okay, so from my artwork, because of the layering, because of the randomness of the brushstrokes, because every single brushstroke's technically in the wrong place, but on the same picture, you will have that abstract feeling where you'll keep perceiving different areas in different ways. You'll feel like even when you first glance at it, you don't see the whole picture, but actually you get an idea of it, but you don't fully understand the whole thing. It's a surfer on a wave, I get that. But there's so much to take in terms of all the little intricacies of color and sweeps and moments and movements of the brush that you can keep looking. That's part of the reward. And then the other element to it too is the fact that it is wild and crazy and chaotic and raw and primal. You can keep looking at those emotions and seeing it inside the work. So if the work captures an emotion or a feeling, you can keep getting that going forward, and that's a reward. If the work didn't capture something like a feeling or an expression or a moment or a primal element, then it's not going to change you as you look at it further on in the future. And it's also not going to reward you for looking at it in the future. And if it won't reward, why would you put it in your house? It has to continually reward you. Art can't be something that you see and go, that's nice. All right, well, I'll put it in my house and I'll never get anything else from it. It has to keep on giving. And that continuous giving is what puts value in artwork. Aloha, Steve. Welcome on in. You've missed the whole Van Gogh yarn, but don't worry. It was very long-winded. Right, and then call it that. Different waves. Possibly. And Van Goghing is loving this piece. That's good, because that was just a whole spiral about Van Gogh. So, coming out of that conversation, we had good fun, but coming out of that conversation, 3 things in art: attention, connection, and reward. So, to make it really simple, if you were telling primary school kids about it, does the artwork get your attention? Do you connect with the artist or with the artwork by looking at it? And then, if you kept it or looked at it again and again and again, would it reward you for doing so? That's the question. Hello, Birdie. How you doing? And I met a guy who did a TED Talk actually the other day. He was a designer. And he was a cool cat. I liked him. And Connie, thank you. Appreciate you. We're about to slap a bit more paint on it, actually. I reckon. If I get my pocket sorted here. And guys, we were off on a bunch of tangents, yarning away. And look at us go. We've just hit 10,000 likes. You bunch of absolute legends. You've got a little bit of arthritis coming into your thumb now, but you've done an incredible job, and I appreciate you for it. Claire, I know it looks finished, but for for one glance, for one view, it's finished. But this is the sort of thing that if you put up in your house, it wants to keep on giving. And when I say keep on giving, that comes from the intricacies, the little colors, the layering, the transparency, the luminosity coming out from inside of the painting through the egg yolks. And so we're not finished yet, but once we get that depth in there, in such a way that actually when you do look at the painting again and again, that you get more and more, that's when it's finished. But from your position there right now, when you glance at it, you're like, it's finished because it's beautiful right now. I do understand that, but there's more we need from it. There's more we need before we say that's ready to go in someone's home for 20 years. Because there's a difference between that painting looks finished and that painting deserves to be looked at for 20 years. Those two things sometimes jump in different boats. So that's what we're after. We're always chasing that painting deserves to be looked at for 20 years. And you're like, that's tall order. Well, you need to go for tall orders in art. That's what you need. There we go. You're a drawing artist. I think regardless of the craft you follow, the connection to a flow state and the connection to a visual medium is the same, in that we share a special bond, that we create things. I say from the ether, but actually we create things that don't exist and bring them into reality in an effort to actually connect with other human beings. And together we share that. That's us. That's what we do. And like a lot of people are like, oh, but when I draw, I just draw though. I don't actually paint something new. I just get given a picture and draw it. No. Do not get confused. You aren't just capturing a moment. You're creating a new one. That's really, really important. You're not capturing a moment. You're creating a new one. By simply being there, redrawing it in your own graphite, even if you're a perfect person who can do it exactly as the picture shows, with perfect craft, blah, 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 you've still created something new, something different, something special. 12K, what's 12K? Oh, 12K likes. Oh, you champion. Yeah, I see that. I thought you were saying the painting. I'm saying, no, it won't be a 12K painting. It's not quite what we put it at. So what I typically try and do is keep the valuation on paintings lower so more people can get originals, but then try and make the difference back in things like prints. And the reason why that helps is because that allows more people to actually enjoy the artwork rather than it being in one home. It's beautiful having an original in your home from any artist. If you connect with it, fantastic. Have that in your home. Love it. I just can't say how important that is. You don't need to find an original at a fancy gallery costing you $20,000. If that's where you need to get it from there. I get it. What you need is connection with the original. And that might come from a farmer's market. That might come from a friend or a child or a high school student or a university student or an elderly citizen who paints in their spare time. Feel that connection, love that story, put that in your home. That's your piece of art. Don't let value or prestige guide your own personal taste. That's like saying, I don't eat nachos unless they cost $100 a bag. It's like, no. You eat good nachos. When you find yourself some good nachos that taste great, if it's $2 a bag, then it's $2 a bag, baby. Let's get some of those nachos. Like that's how I feel about great art. Don't let someone else tell you how your taste buds should work. And when I say taste buds, it becomes abundantly clear. When you say what you like about art, we typically go, oh yeah, but no, I'll trust the masses. But when I say your taste buds, you go, yeah, I don't like that, but I do like that, and that's a fact. No one can tell me otherwise. Your preference in visual art or sound, like music, is exactly like your taste buds. You have your own choices, your own desires, and your own loves, and you're allowed that, and you're allowed to pursue that. I believe that. All right, let me just have a little look-see here. Team. Ooh, never thought. Cheers, Booty. Also, do we have a moderator here? Do we? Because I see people talking about Sam, but I don't see any comment from Sam. Is Jay here or Victoria here? Or is someone silently there in the background? Regardless, hello. Hope you're well. The art I like to paint is so different from the art I want in my own house. See. That's entirely okay. A builder can build 1 million different houses, but still desire a tiny home. What you can create and what you prefer are allowed to be mutually exclusive. Sometimes they're not. For me, sometimes my tastes are very similar to what I create. But, that's not true actually. That's a lie. I love digital art sometimes. I purchased a piece of digital art. From a friend. I absolutely love his stuff, and I wanted to show him support and love, and I really, really badly wanted one of his pieces. And so I bought one. And it was I'm not going to tell you the exact amount, but it was around $2,000, but I'm not going to tell you exactly. And he's working on it, but he's going through his own process, and it can be very scary. But I can't wait. I actually can't wait. I'm so excited. What's the colour today? We're on our pastel palette. Here's our big mess. This is our egg yolk here. This is our different colours. A lot of white streaming around everywhere. Magenta, pink, and then there's a bunch of this yum steely blue. That's where we're at. Hey Horse Rider. Hey Sandy. Sandy Freestyle. I like that name. That's cool. Is that guy surfing? He is surfing. But we've put most of our colour and attention into the wave so far. So we're going to make him pop shortly by adding a few more of those reds and magentas into his body. But not just yet. Not just yet. We're just going to dabble for now. See where we can take it. See where we can take it. There we go. Beautiful. Splash it up through there. Nice. We're going to get, probably as we go, you might start getting just a little bit more transparent, but I haven't decided just yet. There we are. Big old beautiful wave. Cascading over. Da-da-da. Oh, Matt, you haven't been here for a few months. Well, it's good to have you back, mate. It's good on you. Technology purge, I encourage that. Only if you're doing it for the right reasons, though. Don't just do technology purges because you don't like technology. Do it because it's a healthy thing to do for your mental state at this point in your life. Understand very clearly what the intentions of it are. So that way you know when you reach that intention, you're allowed back on technology. Not just technology's bad, not going to use it. And then you just go back to it arbitrarily. Give it some time off and know exactly what you want to gain with that time off before you come back to it. Hello, Jay. How we doing? Good to have you in here, Jay. We're doing some more time on the surfer. And we're here for another 40 minutes. 40 more minutes. Because I have to run off to a meeting. He's got to go to a meeting. He's a man in demand. Mindfulness practice, yeah, and everyone does it their own way. Yes, Matt, it's a new studio. And I'm glad you're doing good, Jay. That's good to hear. Is it a new studio? It is a new studio. This is the crate. You saw me working on Cassie here. You saw me working on Cassie's Joy, Duck Dive, The Little Prince of Siam. What else got done in the studio? The studio has been a hub for a bunch of projects, so I like the studio. But we're back in. We've got a full room here, just like before. And I'm going to do a reel on it, but I wanted to say that, honestly, guys, we're here because it's really, really important. And it's going to sound really funny, but not to work from home. Everyone's like, because usually we hear the opinion, don't work from home, from the employer. And we're like, is that trustworthy info? But, and like rightly so, that should be critiqued and considered. But let me tell you about working from home. Working from home is resigning to working alone. And that's why it's scary. Don't resign to something that causes isolation. That's a bad thing. And actually, that's why somewhere like this, it's a flexible office space, is just the primo. It's the primo because you get to be around people. And like, you're like, I don't need that. You're a Homo sapien. You're a monkey, you're a mammal. You're used to being in tribes for thousands and thousands of years. I think you do need that. I think it's vital for human existence. I think spending even 40 hours a week not surrounded by people, even if you're in your own space but not with people around, is severely dangerous for your mindset and who you are as a person. And suddenly it goes to a stage where it's too far before it doesn't ever get too late. But God, do yourself a favor and look after yourself. Look after that monkey brain part of you that actually wants to be around people and fulfilled with others and share a journey of productivity and connection. That's the important thing. Let me have a little look-see here. I hate working from home, zero productivity with no collaboration. Yes, the collaboration, the productivity are massive things. The collaboration and productivity are massive things. And in terms of being in an office space, it doesn't guarantee it, but it stops the inhibiting factors from being there. I actually cancelled my gym membership a little while ago. And when I cancelled my gym membership, I thought, I'm just going to work out from home. I'm going to save so much time in the commute, blah, 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 blah. And I did. But then suddenly I was never out of my home environment, and I was wondering why my mind frame turned from loving my workouts to resenting my workouts. And that's when I realized, oh, okay. There's a big difference between there's a big difference between going to the gym and actually being in a space for the job and being at home and thinking I've got endless opportunity for it. It was really, really interesting. It had a dramatic effect on me. And now I know that opportunity. Get rid of the inhibiting factors. At home, the fridge, your phone, the PlayStation, all these things. And you're expecting work or working out to win out? Never does. Never does. Can't do it. Personal experience, my personal experience is I can't thread that needle. I need a place where my monkey brain can go, yes, I know this. You love talking to people while you paint? That's exciting. I like that too. Art groups are great. Not just for people who want to paint and have some fun, but also for artists. Artists sometimes turn their nose up at those sorts of things and be like, oh, no, that's not for me. But actually, honestly, it's something that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, guys, I'm going to do something a little bit wild now. I'm going to go to the bathroom quickly and just put you guys on I'm going to run off for, if I can flick this up, there we go. I'm going to run off for 2 minutes, so I'll be back in just a second, team. I'm going to leave this here. And I'll see you all shortly. But we're doing good. Next up is some muted greens. Greens, a little bit muted. We're going to mix the blues in with them and make the wave just a little bit more poppy. I'm excited. And I will see you soon. Alright team, sorry for disappearing on you. I am back now. Da-da-da-ding-da-doo. How long did I do it? Trista, you're an amazing person. I appreciate you, Trista. Eternals online. This is a very exciting stream. There's lots of questions, lots of things being said here. I'm back. Alright, okay. Let me get my speaker on my chest again. There we go. Bang, and then I need a little bit of Cuffe. Crystal, how are we doing? How are we doing? Good to have you in here. We're about to start on those greens. Greens, muted greens, intense greens, all the greens. We've probably got a few of the intense greens still popping out in the work in the background there. The sappy kind. I think we need now those more muted, not lime greens, but limey blue teals. Tealy greens? Tealy greens. Tealy greens, tealy greens. Yum, 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 yum. All right. So to make tealy greens, we need some, because I don't typically do greens in gouache, so we need to mix some. So we're going to grab some primary yellow. Just raw primary yellow. Chuck that down here. And we're going to chuck in just a little bit more white from, I'm going to get a white I like now. There we go. And, ooh, or, let's get really wild here. Same brush, let's grab that yellow, and let's grab that white, and let's grab a little bit of this tempera. You can see here now, pancake mix. We're right in there close. Hold on, I'm coming in. Here we go, ready? Pancake mix. See that? And then on the plate there, literally the consistency of a good quality half pancake, half crepe mix. That's what we're after. That's what we need to work with. That's the dream. That's the dream. And then we're going to grab a little bit of this blue. Just a bit. See that? Just on the brush there. Slap it in there. Get rid of that plate. Here is our plate. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Mix it in here. Let's get that nice and stir it up. Stir it up. Oh, there we go. It's like a pale, passively washed out teal. And you're like, you didn't make that sound good, but trust me, it's well worth the bang for buck. This is the sort of color that brings the whole wave together, that makes those greens feel less intense in the background, makes the blues feel more subdued in the foreground, and everyone just get along. Birdie, I am very, very glad. This is it's actually got similar to Mahalo vibes, but it's slightly different. It actually, how to describe this one in terms of Mahalo? If I was to say, the fundamental difference is different. Mahalo had these longer strokes pulling up through it, and if you look at this one, it's a bit more, dare I say, dotty. And that dotty element makes the colors more sporadic and crazy. But it gives in terms of explosion, but takes in terms of movement. So although this wave is exploding, if you compared this one to, say, Mahalo, Mahalo has that movement and vitality, as if you looked away for a moment and glanced back, it would just be charging forward. 1 second. Let me have a little look-see. Jeepers. All right, team. There's a there's an article out right now about for Women's Day. Very funny. I'll show you there. So it's in some pictures of it. So there's an chasing artistic dreams post on Women's Day. How wild is that? How wild is that? Anyway, let's focus less on Women's Day and more on painting, guys. Right. Paint on the surface, getting much more impasto. And we'll continually splice it with just a little more white as we keep going on. There we go. A little bit more white. Get those muted greens into the picture. There we go. Dun, dun, bird. Du, 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 du. And I think I know that you got to go. Bum, 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 bum. That sounds pretty cool, Birdie. Well, this is New Zealand. And this is Albany and Auckland. So if you're around this area, of course you can come in and paint with me. You can even join the crate and work with me. How wild is that? Because it's not all about painting. There is painting, but there's lots of stuff that you do at a desk that sometimes gets lost in the traffic of thinking an artist is always holding a brush. And yes, you are holding a brush. That's part of the stuff that you do, but actually inside of that is the element of things like creating artwork with laptops and jobs and things like this, like setting up prints and accounts. No one tells you about accounts as an artist. Every person who became an artist thought they were going to paint the whole time. Not that you do your own accounts. Wild. California. I love California. There's always someone from California here. I think it's the time we stream. California, amazing redwoods. Obviously, you know that. That's my favorite part about California. And that crazy road to the north that just seems to just go absolutely nuts with its change in heights. Roads patrolled by aircraft too. That's new for us Kiwis. That's not how Kiwis roll normally. So, I mean, how would she get to come paint with you? Oh, well, great question. Because my studio is inside a flexible office space. So this is the Crate flexible office space. So a bunch of different companies work here. There's accountants, designers, companies, HQs and things like that, all working out of this office. So if you did want to come join, there's a link on my webpage actually. And if you want to go to that, you are welcome to join up. Even if you just work a desk job, that's fantastic. There's desks here. And I'm using them maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week, like keeping up to date with painting. So if you're in Albany, Auckland, or around Auckland, this is a pretty cool place to be. Your great-granddad was a pre-Raphaelite. That's wild. That's pretty cool. That's pretty fun. For those who don't know, Pre-Raphaelites, it's an amazing, amazing art. They were a period of history that wanted to do, you wouldn't call them street artists, but they did subjects which people found somewhat controversial. They painted, for example, they painted Jesus in an impoverished home, and they painted a lady who had passed away, and they painted, glorified, beautiful, but passed away. They painted a escort who was not in the job, but clearly an escort. And these subjects had a profound impact on the whole art world at the time. It was they were really shaking and moving. Holman Hunt, here we go. A distant relation to Holman Hunt. That's exciting. That is exciting. An honour to have you here, mate. An honour to have you here. Thanks, Birdie. I'll catch you later. Yeah. So, a couple of things. It hasn't started up yet for the studio space here, but you can rent a desk at the Crate, and then one thing we're going to set up is you can rent this studio. And I'll do sessions with people, but also, you can just live stream from the Seb Gower Art Studio, which sounds pretty fun. Because then in terms of your art, you can spend some, like, actually, honestly, with painting, I do a lot of painting, guys. When you see me going 5-7 times a week, this is a lot of painting. It's a lot of mental challenge. But typically, if you're starting out, 3 days of painting, 2 days, 1 day is good. 2 to 3 days painting is absolutely solid if you're starting out. But even if you're not a painter, being able to come into a space with painters, accountants, business owners, cryptocurrency traders, travel agents, like something about the perspectives of everyone else in the world will have a profound impact on you and your own trade. Kelly Q, you're an absolute legend. I love you. All right. Still on those muted greens. Still on those muted greens. Cheers, Kelly. Where are you joining from today, Kelly? And I'm guessing, being that it's the usual time, you are at work. Naughty. Kelly's like, really? I came in here to hang out and you're just literally calling me out right away? I'll go back to work then. All right, let's check a bit more through here and a little bit down here. Lovely. Get that layering. That layering. He was part of the pre-Raphaelite movement. Yes, indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Holman Hunt. That's a familiar name. Here we go. Now we've got another 22 minutes, team. 22 minutes, and then your artist needs to dash to that meeting. And then I'll either come back and do some tutorials, or we'll jump on another live. We'll see how the meeting goes. See how the meeting goes. There we go. What is that song? Stuck in my head. Oh my God, that's a powerful. This is going to be a strong color. It'll be that lovely green yellow. There we go. And then across this board here. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. And then up through here. Beautiful. Get that coming into the wave. Get that coming into the wave. That's how we want it. That's how we want it. That's how we need it. Da 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 da. La da da dee da. Ba ba na ba na. There we go. Beautiful. Adding a little touch into it. Cheers, Mark. In terms of my stuff, a couple of people inspire me. Van Gogh inspires me, big time, but honestly, a lot of tradies inspire me. Tilers, plumbers, and electricians. And the reason they inspire me is because when I talk to builders, builders are fascinating to speak to, because no one goes to a job site, a builder, and says, oh, this is terrible. I can't see a house yet, when there's no walls, furniture, or carpet. They see the foundations, and they build from there. And that's really potent. Think about that for a moment. It's potent because when you're making art, how many times do you make adjustments to a piece to try and make it look pretty for people before it's even finished? Or do you actually approach it in much more of a raw fashion and allow it to be what it is through the process of the artwork becoming all that it can be? I think we do try and control it. I think we do try and change things. Oh, let's make that face more accurate. Let's make the eyes more accurate. Let's make the wave more seeable. Let's add a little bit of orange. I know I shouldn't, but I'm just going to add just a little bit now, see how it goes. These thoughts creep into your mind, and actually, the ability to say no, no. The painting's growing. It might be a caterpillar. I'm going to let it slowly become a butterfly. That is the potency. That's the thing you need to be able to do. There we go. Ha! G'day, John. How are we doing? Good to have you on in here. And so that's where I come back to that people who are builders and tradies, people who are not in your regular job, they're really, really important to actually change the way you think about it. And that had a drastic impact on me because my pieces don't look finished when they start. They look messy, broken down, strange in fact. And as it goes, a piece just seems to pull out of it gradually, layer by layer, coat by coat. And so you've got to give it that opportunity to do that. There we go. That's the best. Cheers, Crystal. Yeah. But see, I'll be honest, guys, when I first started, it was very nerve-wracking for me to start new works in front of people. Strangers, viewers, friends. I wanted to do it in a basement by myself to slowly build it up. But actually, that's when I realized, no. I need to do this not just for me, but for everyone else who hides their artwork until they think it's pretty enough. It's got very little to do with pretty artwork and more to do with our own insecurities of being afraid to show what we've made. Not made, but making. We're afraid to share we're on a journey. You know, I want to become this. I'm working on myself. I've just started going to the gym. We like to show the results, but not that we've started the journey. We're sort of afraid of it. Afraid of what people will think if they think we're even trying to attempt the journey. Sometimes people will share it, and I don't know, guys. We can be harsh. Don't be afraid to share where you're at. Obviously, don't overshare and be in a situation where you say, I'm going to the gym. I'm getting a gym membership. I'm going to do this. And then always keep failing to deliver. At a certain point, you do need to tuck in and try and make a piece of artwork. Try and go to the gym. Try and go for a walk. Try and read a book. But at the same time, it's okay to talk about something partially finished and bring it up with your loved ones or strangers or friends. It's okay to talk about. There we go. This is John. This is, if you look here, you'll literally see it's not as yellow as it looks. That's literally the egg tempera. So it's a special blend today. It's a special blend. And I've got a little bit of egg, a little bit of acrylic polymer, which adds shine, it binds it better and stops it from cracking, adds an extra defense to it, and a little bit of gouache, which is where the pigment's coming from. It's a pigment paste. And those all together are making this paint. So it's technically a combination of oils, acrylics, gouache, and egg tempera. So we've got 4 different painting styles, ramrodded them in together, and now we're doing that. So if you say, what painting style is this? You can say all of them. Simultaneously, all of them. We've taken the best parts of every one of them, and we're using them to make this painting, which is pretty fun. Yeah, so it doesn't have the dry times of oil, but it does have the color. So if you look at the color, the ability for the colors to go on in a really poppy fashion, that's there. We've managed to take that from the oils. And there's a little bit of guar gum, which isn't, is guar gum an oil? But there's a little bit of that in there. And then you have the acrylic polymers, which are your gel mediums. They're fantastic. They're in the paint too. And then you do have your gouache paint, which is where the pigment's coming from. So you've got gouache paint, you've got egg tempera, which is the main body, the vehicle, the binder. You've got the guar gum and the acrylic polymers. And a little bit of water. And that's everything. With the water, would you argue that it's actually... No, we're not doing anything to do with watercolors, I don't think. I can't go that far. I can't claim that as well, but we've got most of them. This one isn't a commission, John. This was a project I was doing with Drew Brophy, who's the surfer in the picture here. And I started it because Drew Brophy is one of my heroes. I love the guy to bits. I started this one, but in the amount of time that we had to do it, we didn't quite finish it. And so this is just me giving the painting its chance to be finished, to blossom, to become. There we go. Don't be afraid to be weak. Drew Brophy, he's an artist and a surfer. I will offer it to him, but I think he's got a house overloaded with art from what I've seen on Instagram of his own art. So, but I typically do that, John, because that's not just because it's hard to say from here. You say, oh, he wouldn't want it. Actually, it's out of respect. You know, you go through those stages. So that's quite fun. And if I flick that off there, where are we at? Yep, we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. There's a bit more to go, but we're making some good ground here. And what's this Natalie Guardian Angel thing that it's showing me? Guardian of Starlight, 6th to the 12th of November, 2023. Event introduction. Participants are from Australia and New Zealand. Viewers must compete on a Guardian ranking each live room by sending gifts. Besides, viewers can receive more awarded points by completing daily tasks. That doesn't strike me as the proper English. Okay. Well, what's the date today? What is the date today, team? It is a delightful... Oh! It's literally on right now. How wild's that? All right. How wild is that? All right, guys. That being said, we've only got... Bear with me here. I like the mustache, dude. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a mustache going on. It's 9 days in. I've still got 21 days more to go, and we're going to see how it goes. But so far, I'll be honest, it's had a lot of compliments. So maybe we'll put it out to a poll and actually ask everyone, does the mustache stay or does the mustache go? And we'll see. Oh, cheers, John. Cute. That was pretty fun. One thing I like about TikTok is the animations. I think the animations are smoking. Absolutely smoking. And with this stuff here, guys, I know I mentioned a whole bunch of ingredients, and I'm sorry about that. I'm going to put out a recipe so you guys know what's being used. And I'm going to start writing. This affects a lot of you in here. For everyone who's currently got a commission, if you currently have a commission and you've ordered it in the last, how long? 3 or 4 months, I've got to send you a new little surprise, and it's going to come to you before Christmas. So prepare yourself for that. Coming your way just prior to Christmas. It's not going to be huge. It's going to be a little something, just a little something special. Oh, perfect, John. Perfect. I saw your email there, and sorry for not replying yet, but I did get in touch with the team. the shipping crew. I was like, guys, you've sent a few things already. I need you to figure out what's happened here. And they said, yes, we're on it. So you've got new gifts. Yeah, I like the way they're keeping it fun. They're keeping it fun on TikTok. And I actually met some of the TikTok people, the ones who actually work on building out the live platform. I met them a few weeks back. They were lovely, lovely people. I was really, really surprised how, I mean, I say surprised. Why would I be surprised that someone's lovely? That's the wrong way of putting that. What I'm saying there is I was really surprised at how incredibly, I mean, no, I wasn't surprised. They were really positive. They were upbeat. They were fun. They were talking about how great the platform was and what they were doing to connect people. It was just absolutely astounding. Amusement park. Jeepers, they have got some new features going. They really have got some new features going. It's like, imagine being the person. What's your job? I'm a TikTok artist. I design TikTok animations for gifts. You'd be like, that's cool. I like your style. Here we go, coming on down here. Let's get a bit of this through here. All right, now remember team, I've got that meeting that I need to run to in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. I'm dashing in 8 minutes. And then, depending on how the meeting goes, I'll either be back, crying in my room. I won't be crying, but I'll either be back or I might run off and edit a reel or something like that, but we'll see. It's completely up in the air right now. Right, let's grab a bit of this white. More white. I'm never sending that again. John's like, nah, not that animation. That was garbage. That was garbage. There we go, let's splash. Yeah, there we go. Little bits, team. Let's get that up through there. This is going to start to really pop off the surface now. This is the foamy color. Turn around, bright eyes. You got that stuck in my head now, bright eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart, and I need you more tonight. If you haven't sung that song with someone in mind, you haven't lived yet. And I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, I'll be holding on forever. I mean, imagine if someone wrote that song and sang it for you. That would be pretty cool, right? Turn on that song, or someone starts singing it, you're like, yeah, that song was written for me. Me, baby. Or maybe that's just my inner narcissist getting excited that someone would write a song for you. Maybe I need to grow up. I need to grow up. I've certainly sung it thinking about someone. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Not that, but you do. Honestly, John, I think singing's more like painting. Like, depending on, like, I'm no great singer, but that's still being said, I should still sing because if it makes me happy and it strikes the right chords in me, then have a go at it. And if I'm able to express myself through it and someone else can bounce off that a wee bit and get a bit of pleasure, then it doesn't matter that the note's missed. I like someone who just gives it their all. That's what I like. In painting or in singing, who cares whether you can or can't? Just have at it. What's the most awkward thing in painting and in singing and in dancing is someone who doesn't give it 100% and you can tell that they're holding back. But when someone just gives it, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's infectious and you love it. Like, there was a guy at the talent show when I used to be at summer camp, and he would get up every year and sing a song like Bright Eyes or a really like powerful song like that, and he couldn't sing at all. But he'd get up there, he'd grab the mic, he'd be flat, he'd be high, he'd be cracking his voice, he'd be falsetto, he'd be yelling it. But you know what? He did that, and by doing so, he gave everyone else permission to sing however they wanted at that talent show. All those kids who wanted to share singing, suddenly, no matter what you did, you were going to be not only better than he was, but given full confidence to sing with your full voice. So what he did for those kids was just absolutely fantastic. His name was Jordan, I think. What an incredible guy. Like that, to do that for kids, to make sure that they feel comfortable in the environment, going up on stage and singing their hearts out, dancing their hearts out, to make enough of a fool of yourself, as loud as you can, infectiously making everyone happy, but enough so that every single person can be who they want to be. You've got to give them a gold star for that. Here comes Chad. Seb, my doctor told me that I'm going deaf. The news was hard to hear. Fair. Not your finest, Chad. I'm still waiting for an absolute banger, but I'm going to give that one a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10, which is still sitting there on a C+, I believe. Or a C. A C+. Or a B-. Depending on what university you go to, I think. But I appreciate, in fact, for the participation, you can have yourself a 7 out of 10. Here we go. Turn around, bright eyes, every now and then I fall apart, and I need you more tonight. Need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, I'll be holding on forever. We can make it to the end of the night. Love is like a shadow when we never to die. Everyone's like, ooh, we're entering that point where he doesn't know the lyrics. Crack up. And yes, you're correct. There we go. All right, we're closing in. We're closing in on the last 2 minutes. And then I need to dash, team. Cheers, John. John, what time is it in the world where you are right now? I think you are currently, you'll be up late, actually. If it's 2:30 where I am, oh no, 2:30. So you're on roughly 9 p.m. 9 p.m. at a guess, 9 p.m. Oh, I was close. Of course it was going to be a full hour. Of course it wasn't going to be a little half shot. If I'm on 2:30, you would be on you'll be on a 30 as well. So what was I thinking, saying around time? Anyway, I'm going to give that a gold star though. That's a good guess on my part. Here we go. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart, and I need you more. I'm going to belt that in the car on the way to this meeting, guys. I'm going to sing that so loud that when I'm at the traffic lights and my windows are shut and the car behind me, car beside me's windows are shut, that they'll be like, where is that? I can hear Bright Eyes. I can hear Bright Eyes being sung here. I look to their right and they'll be like, maybe from that grown man screaming in the car beside me. Okay, he's singing Bright Eyes. Oh, and look at that dashing mustache he's got. That makes up for the lack of tune. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I have to dash. I'm going to be back. I'm going to leave all the paint out because that's how confident I am that I'm coming back. So, this is New Zealand Bright Eyes. This is indeed. We've done well here. I'm liking the muted tones onto it. Still needs a bit more play to occur. We're entering a period, if I was being rough on myself, I'd be saying that actually the strokes that I'm putting in, they're getting a bit dotty, and I need a few more longer ones to define the wave better. But that's just been harsh on myself. It's still a really fun piece. Waves are quite fun in dots, because one thing you'll notice, if you compare it to our other wave picture, Mahalo Mahalo had that flow and direction to it through the long strokes, whereas this wave here with Drew on it, this one feels more like an explosion straight towards you. And only once you get used to that explosion do you start to see the movement and go, oh, okay, he's on a wave. But that doesn't have that immediate intrinsic movement in it. We weren't after the movement to start with. One really fun thing I like with this one is it's got this very, very subtle iconography of time in it. And I'm not quite sure what that means for me or for the artwork yet, but if you look at it and blur your eyes ever so slightly, you'll notice there's this massive hourglass happening in the picture. So it basically thins out right about here and goes up. And if you wanted to read into it a whole bunch more than you should, or more than you could before we take the metaphor to its extent, that Drew's here and his arm actually holds on to time. And in some way, I suppose we could lean into it more, but you could say that actually Drew, or the surfer, we could personify him and say he's every person or his human experience, and that in the action of taking a hold of life and surfing and whatever it is you like to do, walking, hiking, singing, dancing, spending time with friends, relaxing with loved ones, I don't know, whatever it is you like to do, you're holding on to and living through the energy of time? No, you're living life, and time is money, time's vitality, time's everything. How are you going to spend your time? This guy's spending it surfing. That's cool. But I do see a giant unintentional, it's unintentional at this stage. I think we're going to leave it that way because that still keeps it subtle, but giant unintentional hourglass. Now, if we were to make it intentional, we wouldn't change a single thing about the structure of it. We'd add touches, tiny touches, and this is where you come into actually building the iconography or the symbolism to the work, of brown, a chocolatey walnut down through here, and then across the top. And what that would do when you saw the chocolate walnut there and there is it would look more like one of those timers, egg timers, because you'd have a proper base and a proper top, and then all of this untouched in its wilderness would become the egg timer. And it wouldn't say, hey, look, here's some Salvador Dali realism to actually know exactly what you're looking at in this crazy wild world. It would just hint that, hey, is that sea or is that wood? Why do you put brown in the ocean? And you go, maybe it's the top and bottom of the hourglass. I like the Rhythmic Bear. Rhythmic Bear gets a 9 out of 10. That was pretty fun. I'm a big fan of Rhythmic Bear, John. I don't know what you thought of it. I thought that was pretty funny. And Elma, you're welcome to join here anytime and hang out. And Skeleton, funky name, but thank you very much. We're going to be back to it, working on it shortly. I'm running late for my meeting now, but it's been really fun, guys. Sending love from here in New Zealand. Jay Smith, John, Ryan, if you're still here, Crystal, I will talk to you guys very soon. All right, guys, all the best. 19,000 likes. You guys are a bunch of champions. And let me just... Yeah, okay, so there's still, he needs magenta and he needs red built into him. And probably, see, I see red through here already, but it didn't really touch him. There's more on his life jacket than I've captured. Sorry, I do have to go. You're a bunch of legends, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.